Yo, what up? I'm going to be your host today, Eli Tanner, and this is the Eli Show Podcast, Season 2, and it's 2026, I think, third episode. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Count me out on it. But I'll tell you what, and what a wild weekend it's been. And it's been crazy. I will say this. It's been one of the craziest weekends of sports the whole year. And I said that last week in the wild card weekend. I'm saying it this weekend, the divisional weekend. But that wasn't the highlight of the weekend. And it was great, especially for the comments I made on the Bills and all that. But probably one of the best games of this college football, if not the best game of this college football season, was played yesterday, last night. Indiana, Miami. What a game. What a game it was. And it was back and forth, and that's not what I was expecting. We're gonna do Eli. We're gonna do Eli right, Eli wrong, and we're gonna start off with this.
Where Eli was wrong.
I don't know if that's gonna work or not, but I was wrong, and I thought Indiana was going to control the game and really put a big pace on the game, and thought they would have had a pretty considerable lead going into halftime, and that was not the case, and it was close all game, and it was always a 1 or 2 score game, never above 10, I don't think. And it was a great fight by Miami. And to my great surprise, Indiana brought more of the fans, and it was a little crazy, that the fact that Indiana brought more of the fans than Miami did. It's should have been a home game. Instead, it looked more of a home game for Indiana. And be fair with y'all, I don't think if you're a Miami fan, you shouldn't be mad at that game. You should be with a little bit of a smile, a little bit of disappointment because you make a field goal. You don't throw that interception to end the game, and you don't make those simple mistakes, and that does not happen. But there's a lot. But let's move on to something else.
Eli was right.
When it came to the Bills, and let's get a little smoke for this one. That's not working right now. You know, I think one of the biggest things was Josh Allen, like we said, but coaching. And we came a big surprise on Monday, I do believe. It was that the Bills had fired their head coach. And it was not a surprise to me. And I said Josh Allen's job was on the line, so was the coaching in the wild card weekend. And then you win a close one against Jacksonville, and you face a away game again in Denver. A close game it was, but I feel like Josh Allen should have won that game. 4 turnovers for Josh Allen, 2 picks, a fumble by Josh Allen, fumble by the running back, I think. And those little mistakes caused, first of all, Josh Allen's coach to leave you, and you had to be mad. I'm Josh Allen had a good playoffs. Won a game, lost a game. Won his first road game, but now is 0-6. I think it's 0-6 in overtime games. In 0-3, I think it is. That's what they said. I don't know that stat, but in overtime games in the playoffs, and that's a crazy stat to be honest. To get into overtime games, and if you're a Bills fan, you would have thought, oh, we're going to have a chance, especially when Denver having it first and not getting it. But the mistake after mistake, and you can argue all day, you can't blame that game on the refs when you have that many turnovers. Was it a catch? Was it not a catch? I'm going to say it was a catch. The number one reason why, sorry, not it. I meant an interception. That's what I meant. And the reason why is they both had control when they fully went down. And it's like we do in the old recess game. It's who comes out of it. And in a playoff game like this, it's who wants it more. And Denver wanted that more. The offensive guy, if you look, it comes out of his hands and straight into the Denver's hands. That does not mean he has full control of the ball, which is defined as a catch. Full control of the ball when he goes down. And now all this, is it a catch, is it not a catch? I don't fully know if it was a catch or not, but it was, in my opinion, it was a interception. And That's not what lost y'all the game. Shouldn't have gone into overtime. You shouldn't have thrown those picks, bad decisions, bad coaching partly, and the play calling, I think. And that's why you're down your head coach. And then it brings up the point of now the NFL is a quarterback league. And it's been for years, but it used to be a good quarterback always had a good coach. That's still a big thing. But now you're thinking Lamar Jackson. They fired their coach because they wanted a coach for Lamar Jackson. Now Josh Allen. They're all surrounding on Josh Allen. They fired their coach. Even Dak Prescott over the years, fired their coach. Trevor Lawrence over the years fired their coach. All keeping that quarterback. And to be honest, so many coaching firings, which you want to build a program. And I guess they're looking at colleges for some reason, looking at NIL, and it's professional. You have high standards. You have high success. When you have high success, like the Bills, you look at one person who's playing, the quarterback. And when something good happens, you praise the quarterback. When something bad happens, you put it mostly on coaching. Not 100% of the time. Yeah, it's QBing sometimes. But when something goes wrong, you most of the time put it in coaching, and that's their job as an NFL coach. But it also puts them at risk of getting fired. Because you don't see many teams go off of a star quarterback, a future Hall of Fame quarterback. You see them going off of coaching. Patriots. I mean, Tom Allen, great, but Bill Belichick, he was really, he really helped Tom Brady get his name and get started. Yes, he won a championship at Tampa Bay, but I feel like if he would have stayed there years, he wouldn't have won another one. And players are what the NFL is surrounded by, not coaching anymore. And there was a day and age where coaching was more important. Well, it's still important, but a quarterback is one piece of the puzzle with the athletes. It's a big piece, but it's one piece. But the coach is that glue that keeps the team together. And it's crazy what life's going with. Like social studies teacher said, money's starts wars, starts conflicts. And all stress is caused by change. That's all I'm gonna say. But NFL coaching firings have gone a little crazy, and there's going to be more to come in the next years that we're going to just stand by and say, wow. Number one reason is money and winning. Those are the reasons. Now, the rest of the NFL games, Bills, Denver, we talked about that one. And another surprising one was the Seahawks, Seattle, smoking the 49ers, San Francisco. And I think it looked like they were playing a B team out there. Like, to be honest with you, it looked like, they say 49ers going to make it all the way to go to their home stadium. I remember watching the game, and it was the last week 19, I do believe. And it was 49ers saying, if we win this game, we're going to go all the way. But they lost that game, and that game because they would have stayed at home all the way to the Super Bowl. And now they're out of the Super Bowl race. And four teams left, and it's like the Final Four is like, wow. All those times watching, all those hours on Sunday, staying up late on Thursday night and Monday night, all that for these four teams. It's crazy. And yeah, it's exciting. You look at the schedule and you have two games this upcoming weekend, and then the next week I think it's the Pro Bowl as they call it, and then the week after that's the Super Bowl, and then no NFL football. College is over now, and then you get in the basketball season, but not immediately. You still have a 3 or 4 week gap between the start of March Madness and and the NBA. The regular season, like I've said, it's not the greatest to watch. And, you don't keep track and like, oh, yeah. Because most of the teams, they stay on a pace. Sometimes it's a good pace, like running a marathon. Sometimes it's not a so good pace, you know? And you have streaks, you have winning streaks, you have losing streaks, just like the MLB. When the MLB starts, all this. No. You know, you look back in October and say, yeah, I probably could have told you that in July. These were going to be the teams. Now, not all the time, and NBA, not all the time it's going to be like that. It's a different thing to go to a lot of NBA games because that's exciting. And to have season tickets. It's different between going to a Saturday afternoon or night, at your local college. They have a great, they've been really great. Ranked 18th in the country. I watched maybe 3 games. I watched a little bit of the one this Saturday. Good overall game by Clemson. They have a good team. They're a scrappy team. They don't have a lot of NIL. They have a lot of transfers, but not a lot of NIL. And they fight for the ball. They fight for the win. And that's how you end up winning, getting into March Madness. Getting an ACC championship possibly. I mean, they could make a run if they really tried. 9 games in a row? I'm not trying to jinx anything, but they have a great season going. I mean, college is a lot less games, and it's a lot more exciting than the regular season NBA. But once the NBA playoffs start, you're on the edge of your seat. Once March Madness starts, you're watching at 50 different TVs. Like, did that just happen? And it's really exciting, and it's really great. All sports going around, but I have a little bit of it. I was talking in family, friends, and my Alexis, but about the future of this channel. No, I'm not getting rid of it. I have some exciting news, and we, in the springtime, there's a lot more sports, so we're going to start doing sports highlights, and I'll be commentating it for a little bit. But that's not the biggest news. I was thinking, what would be a good summer project? Probably to build a fort in the woods, maybe. To go on a long hike or journey up, a mountain. That would be cool. But what if we spend 24 hours, me and my brother, the cameraman, 24 hours in our backyard woods, just with water cups, because we do have a creek that is contaminated. That would not be safe. With water cups, and we have to cook our own food, make a fire, make a shelter for 24 hours. And, more subscribers, bigger things. If we get up to 200 subscribers by July, I will make a whole house in the woods. 200 subscribers by July. Do you think we can do it? I know you guys are laughing at home, but, tell your friends about this show, the Eli Show. We have a podcast. Still probably going to do the podcast, once or twice a month. But in those, have highlights. Have quick adventures out in the woods, and maybe I don't know, game shows at my house. You never know. The future is bright. But I'll tell you what, it's being great. And another thing, a little sooner than the summertime, is this weekend's weather. It's looking nasty out there. Maybe a little bit of snow. Here's what's going to be bad. It's going to be the sleet and the freezing rain. Possibly record numbers. So I'll tell you, get your groceries just in case. Get your groceries now. Get some boiling stuff, because you can make fires. In my house, we have a fire pit we can make, all natural with wood. But get stuff that you can boil stuff with pretty quick. If you have a gas stove, that's great, And stack up the food. Make sure you have lights and candles. And just make sure, your house stays heated, because it's going to get cold, really cold. And there's going to be some freezing rain, some snow possible. And you never know in South Carolina weather. But, stay safe out, safe out there, And, yeah. Thanks for listening to the Eli Show podcast. I'm your host, Eli Tanner. Remember, 200 subscribers by the end of July. I would make a house in the woods and spend maybe even 3 days. Goodbye.